All right, let's get right into it. Today we're tackling that one giant question that stops so many of us in our tracks. How do you take that amazing, brilliant idea that's bouncing around in your head and actually make it real?
You know the feeling, right? You get that lightning bolt of inspiration, that perfect concept for a new project, an app, maybe a book, and then nothing. It just feels so big, so overwhelming that you're totally paralyzed. You've got this incredible idea and absolutely zero clue what to do next.
And honestly, that's where most great ideas just fizzle out. They die in silence. But yours doesn't have to. There is a playbook, a system, a verifiable process you can follow to bring any idea to life. So let's build that manual together, right now.
First things first, we've got to bust a huge myth right off the bat. We love to think of creativity as this magical force, like a lightning strike from the heavens. But that's just not how it actually works. The author James Clear just nails it with this quote: "Creativity is a process, not an event, and that one little shift in thinking changes everything." It means creativity isn't something that just happens to you. It's a skill you can build, a muscle you can train, and any good system needs a reliable engine.
So let's pop the hood and look at that engine. It is a super simple, repeatable three-step rhythm that's going to become the very heartbeat of your entire creative project.
This is it. This is the entire machine. Step 1, you break down your huge idea into the smallest possible tasks you can think of, and they have to be verifiable. So, not design the app. A verifiable task is create 3 wireframes for the login screen. You can point to it and say that's done. Then you sprint. You execute those tasks in a fixed 2-week cycle. No more, no less. And finally, you review. You step back, you look at what you actually learned, what went wrong, and you use that real-world feedback to plan the next sprint. Break down, sprint, review. That's the rhythm you're going to live by.
Okay, so we've got our engine, now we need fuel. And let me tell you, the best fuel isn't just a clever idea. It's a real burning problem that somebody out there is desperate to have solved.
And this slide, it just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you've got your sitcom idea. It's kind of cool, it's interesting, but when you tell people about it, you get that polite, "Oh, that's nice." There's no urgency. But on the other side, you have an urgent need. This thing solves such a painful problem that the reaction is, "Oh my God, I need this now." That's what you're looking for.
So where do you find one of those? Well, start with yourself. What's a pain point that you genuinely have? Then go talk to other people and listen. Really listen for that desperation in their voice. And remember, your goal isn't to solve a tiny problem for everybody. It's to solve a huge problem for a very small, specific group of people. This helps you frame everything perfectly. What is the problem? Who is the user? And only then, what is my solution?
All right, so with that powerful engine and that high-octane fuel, it is time to supercharge the whole process with the right tools. And I mean both the tech you use and, maybe more importantly, your own mindset.
Let's start with the biggest one out there right now, AI. But please, don't just think of it as a machine that spits out text or images. You need to think of it as your creative, sparring partner. A collaborator that's there to push you, challenge you, and help you refine your thinking at every single step of that 3-part loop.
So here's how you actually plug it into your system. When you're in the breakdown phase, AI is your assistant, suggesting tasks you never would have thought of. During your sprint, it's your accelerator, cranking out first drafts of code or copy. And in the review, it's your analyst, finding patterns in user feedback. But honestly, its most powerful role is being your devil's advocate, poking holes in your logic so you find the flaws before you've wasted weeks of work.
Now, for the internal tool, you. Just like going to the gym, your creative ability isn't some fixed thing you're born with. It is a muscle. And if you don't train it consistently, it gets weak.
So here's a super simple workout plan. First, literally schedule creative practice in your calendar. Treat it like a meeting you absolutely cannot miss. Second, build a library. Every idea, every interesting quote from a user, every lesson you learn from a review, save it all. This becomes your personal creative goldmine. And third, run dual tracks. Have your main long-term project, but also work on a few small, quick creative exercises on the side to keep those muscles sharp.
Okay, this next part is absolutely crucial. Because no matter how perfect your process is, I promise you, things will go wrong. You are going to hit dead ends. You're going to realize you are on the completely wrong path. And the key is knowing how to navigate those moments without panicking.
So picture this. What do you do in that gut-wrenching moment? You spent weeks, maybe months, working on something, and then you suddenly find undeniable proof that a core belief The very foundation of your project is just wrong. This is the moment most projects die for good. But not yours, because you're going to have the recovery protocol. Step 1, freeze. Just stop everything. Don't write another line of code, don't design another thing, just document exactly which assumption was proven false. Step 2, revalidate. You're going to launch a tiny, super fast mini sprint with one goal: test a new hypothesis. And step 3, rewrite. You redraw your entire project map based on this new hard-won evidence. The key here is realizing you're not failing, you are learning and rerouting.
You know what makes those hard moments way easier? Setting up safety guardrails before you even start. For time, decide ahead of time to use existing templates instead of aiming for perfection. For your reputation, plan on a limited beta release. For money, figure out how to validate the idea manually before you spend a single dime on development. And for your own sanity and effort, define your stop loss, the point at which you'll walk away, no matter what. This takes the emotion out of really tough decisions.
We've covered a ton of ground: the loop, the problem, the tools, the recovery plan. But none of it matters without taking action. So let's end this with a quick diagnostic test for your idea. Right here, right now.
Okay, first question, and be brutally honest with yourself. Is this idea solving a real, urgent need? And do you have actual proof, like quotes from real people or data, or are you just kind of guessing?
Next, forget about the giant, beautiful vision for just a moment. What is the absolute smallest, most important, verifiable task you could complete today to move this thing forward?
Now think about that first 2-week sprint. What is the single riskiest assumption you're making? You know, the one thing that, if it turns out to be wrong, could kill the entire project. That's what you have to test first.
And finally, think about your worst-case scenario. What is the most expensive mistake you could possibly make down the road? And then ask yourself, what incredibly cheap, simple experiment could I run right now to see if I'm accidentally heading in that direction?
Because in the end, that's the real secret, isn't it? The goal is not to start with a flawless, genius idea. The goal is to start a flawless, brilliant process. A loop of breaking things down, taking action, and learning from what happens. That loop can turn any tiny spark into a fire. Now go start yours.